So The Rock is no longer The Rock.
No, he's officially Dwayne Johnson.
Which he's actually been trying to do. But now he's mixed race to Witch Mountain.
You know, that's actually kind of good. I'll give you that one.
I was going to say race out of Race to Witch Mountain. But
I like the way he's decided to be Dwayne Johnson in Race to Witch Mountain. Like this is some like serious art film that he's done right here.
Now,
Well, he's been Dwayne Johnson in a couple of films,
quite a few
actually.
now.
But
So his name is owned by.
his name's
Well,
owned
but
by the
Vince McMahon.
WWF, yeah.
Oh, really?
Again, it's just like China, like all those wrestlers. Vince McMahon owns those names.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
like the biggest like scam ever. That whole wrestling world. None of those guys own anything of their characters, which
Right.
is why they all go poor.
That's why Hulk Hogan became Hollywood Hogan. for a
Okay,
while.
so it's good. It's a good thing. Like The Rock didn't come back try to be like the Boulder or some
Well,
shit.
if you notice, his name was The Rock on so many movies. If you go back and look at executive producers, Vince McMahon is an executive producer on
That's
most
right.
of those films because he had a piece of that and used the name.
So Dwayne Johnson is the actor. The Rock is Vince McMahon's bitch.
Yes. And that's why he wants to be Dwayne. And when
Gotcha.
you look like that, you can be Dwayne Johnson.
when
Because
you're-
Dwayne Johnson sounds like a kid who got his ass kicked in high school.
When your name is Dwayne Johnson, that's what happened, and there's a reason that dude is fucking huge.
Well,
Well, it also helps if your mom is Samoan.
I was about to
and they
say.
tend to be big people.
yeah, motherfucker Samoan, what you gonna do?
yeah, like his mom looks like The Rock in a dress. No, so he's in. We're talking about how big and scary he is, but he's in a children's film.
Yeah, so he's a big teddy.
He's
bear.
being
he's-
cuddly here.
Well,
Yeah.
dude, like, he plays freaking the transporter, for fuck's sake. He's the
Well.
transporter with a cab. He's not nice in this movie. He's a big ass beater with a car that just happens to have two kids with him.
Well, it's funny because I mean, no matter he could change his name to Big Cuddly Bear or whatever. I mean, he's gonna always in every movie. It's guaranteed he's gonna beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, well, that's what you get him for.
Yeah,
When you
exactly.
get a guy with like forearms like that unless he's going to beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, I mean, he could be Jesus in a movie. He's still gonna whoop somebody's ass. And now he's in Race to Witch Mountain, and this is a remake of a Disney classic. I mean, I don't even remember when the movie came out. It was like the '70s
It was in
when
the
it came.
70s.
Oh,
What's
yeah, it
weird
was
is
the
they were
early
marketing
70s.
this as not a remake, but a sequel. Like, oh, this takes place after. But no, I'm sorry.
No,
I
it-
saw these not too long ago. This isn't a sequel.
Well, no, what they're trying to do is separate it from the other films
Yeah.
so that they can sell a box set for the family so that the kids can sit down and watch a whole bunch of alien movies from the 70s and the one with The Rock.
Very true.
Well, so you had Escape to Witch Mountain, right? And you had Return to Witch Mountain,
Right.
Yeah.
And now they got this
Ghost of Witch Mountain.
Yeah, you know.
Abbott and Costello visit Witch Mountain.
Witch Mountain versus Mothra or something, whether it's a sequel or whatever. We have Dwayne Johnson, who is a cab driver.
Which we have established, yeah.
Yes, and so you can tell that he's hiding from some past because he lives in a really shitty hotel that can't even afford water for the swimming pool.
And this is in the middle of Vegas, where everything else is, lavish, and he's living in shithole,
Yeah.
shithole suburb of Vegas.
By himself, hearing people have sex next door. He's boxing his punching bag, taking out his frustrations instead of masturbating. So he,
Yeah, so he's already clearly screwed up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, his head ain't right.
Yeah, clearly your head was in the right place for this children's movie.
I'm just saying, if he wouldn't be so angry if he just like touch himself every now and then. But now he's going on along one of
You
his
hear that,
jobs, and so these two kids just appear in his car one day.
Literally.
And they start they act like they're on drugs or something. They're talking in very straightforward talk and looking at each other.
Did you
in
mention he
crazy
was a
ways.
cab driver?
What's that?
Because I don't think you did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Where were you? Speaking of aliens, where
the hell am I?
exactly?
What is this?
You know this is Earth,
This
right?
is not my beautiful wife.
And they start doing weird shit. I mean, they start like making the car move by itself. One kid just teleports out the car and just makes another car crash into him, and the kid doesn't even budge. And it's pretty clear. And both these kids are very blonde too. So it's either these are aliens or these are children from Germany or some shit.
Yeah.
So they now
Aliens or Aryans. We can't figure it out.
either way it goes, it's fucked up. So
There's a cab driver. Aliens appear in his car, say, we need to go somewhere. He gets caught up in a wild adventure trying to protect these kids from the FBI and an alien bounty hunter.
Yeah.
that is it, man.
That's the movie.
See,
That- yeah.
and it is. I mean, the question is, okay, so why would these super powered, and I mean
Yes, I know
super
where you're
fucking
going.
powered kids, they can do everything, and yet for some reason they need the fucking Rock.
You figure like, okay, these kids, they need him to drive them places. The Rock, he drives a cab, they need a ride. But then the girl can make the car move by itself.
Yeah.
So that was my first thing. Like, why the fuck do they need him?
They don't.
Because-
At no point do they need him.
Because this has always been the plot of all these movies.
Yes.
Powerful alien kids come to Earth and need adult supervision. That's always been the plot of these freaking films.
Because you got the little boy, like the little boy gives the Rock like $15,000, and you figure the little girl would be like, "What the fuck would you do that for? We could have like teleported everywhere and saved the money for ourselves."
Well, I mean, see, now you're starting to overthink a Disney afternoon film, because the problem here is that they can read his mind at every point, but the point at which he needs to say something important and teach them a valuable lesson, because then they can't read shit.
But he doesn't even really do that. There are no real valuable lessons in this film. It'd be fine if they were missing some important human component of emotion, but they're not, except for the ability to act.
I'm simply referring to moments like, here's $15,000. Is that enough?
Yeah.
When she can scan his mind and go, how much should we give him to make sure he doesn't freak the fuck out and follow us into our secret underground lair?
Yeah, you have to pick the most curious and dumbest cab driver in Las Vegas.
And then the most honest. I mean,
Well, yeah. Have you ever heard of a cab driver go, "Hey, you tipped me too much"?
right. That never happens.
No, it is especially with these kids. I mean,
But he's The Rock.
and these kids,
And The Rock loves kids.
And this is a Disney movie.
And these kids explain that they're on a mission from their home planet because their parents got put in jail. So the kids decide to take up the mantle and come to Earth and do a bunch of research
Yeah,
and
there's
shit.
something about their home planet will invade our planet unless they get this technology back from our planet and bring. You know what? What fucking difference does it make?
And they don't explain shit. Now, you're right. Maybe I shouldn't ask too much because the Rock starts following these kids around and then they find a shack. And they go into this shack, and first of all, you're thinking, well, where'd this shack come from? But it gets deeper. Within this shack is like a hidden giant nostril or something, because there's a snot cave in there.
Yeah.
And they don't explain anything. It just bubbles of snot with technology in it, and these kids get in there, take it, and then that's when the assassin shows up.
I love that. They're like, we got to be careful. We've had to be careful about getting here because we know this assassin from the other universe is following us. So we've been really careful, except for maybe shutting all those doors behind us.
Because they're being chased by a poor man's predator.
Yeah, but even so, he's so
he
incompetent.
probably wasn't
Okay.
even one of the real predators.
That's
He's
true.
like one of the predators that was a scrub who was like the water boy for the other predators.
Now, don't you make fun of that washout from the Sci-Fi Channel, because he was trying in this movie. He was
He
giving it
looked
his
so-
all. He was the Guyver.
He looked so bad. And they kept like panning up his suit, showing you a little bit of time, but never his face. You're like, ooh, dude, he's going to look badass when they finally show his helmet. But no. He wasn't a real assassin, though, because they never really get to that point where he goes back to his crummy hotel room and they have a voiceover where he's going, I never wanted to do this for a living. Somehow it just sucks you in.
Or he's like thinking, damn, I must suck because these little motherfuckers keep kicking my ass. These two kids right here.
Now,
Go ahead.
yeah, look, I really like this movie. I thought it was a fun, matinee, stupid film. It is flawed as hell. It reminded me of the originals. The originals aren't very good.
No, okay, you're right. They aren't very good, but anybody who saw them as a kid loved them.
Sure, and I
yeah.
think kids are going to love this. My major problem is that it is so cliche ridden that you run into elements that you're like, wait, what the hell is that for? There's a moment where they're like sneaking into a base and they find themselves in a giant tube that they shoot flame up for no apparent reason except that, oh my God, we have to get down this ladder quick and get into the next chute. It's like, why would somebody build that? It was the classic Star Trek problem of here we have these devices that we create that only serve a purpose to put our characters in danger and they make no fucking sense whatsoever and the movie's filled with them.
Honestly, I can't believe this movie wasn't in 3D, because if there's any movie it reminded me of, it was the 3D Journey to the Center of the Earth, because it just had these set pieces where it's like, okay, now we run to this part of the ride, now we run to this, and I mean, that's the only thing that would have made it somewhat tolerable is to go through, okay, well, hey, the 3D's cool, and I really feel like fire or laser beams are coming at me, but as it is, it's just kind of an empty experience of just a bunch of go here, go here, go here.
Yeah, well, the movie feels like a science fiction or a sci-fi channel movie. I mean,
It looks like one.
Except they put like maybe an extra $10 on some special effects here and there, but for the most part,
that's not true.
Yeah, what
Did you
about
see
the
the bullet
bullet
sequence?
Oh my God! see, Cyrus was complaining about the effects all the way through, and I thought, oh man, they don't look that bad.
Yes,
but that
they
scene with the bullets, holy shit!
That would have been shit even for the science fiction channel.
That would be
yeah.
shit if you saw it on YouTube.
I
That's
mean-
one of those
and-
things that it's like, oh, cute effect, jackass.
That would have been shit in 1985.
Oh yeah, no,
No,
there's
no,
a scene in the-
it looked like Monty Python animation where you just like bullets cut out of magazines and use After Effects. And just
Oh
kinda
yeah,
float
no,
them
no,
in.
that's true. What they're talking about. There's a scene in the movie where these kids protect. Well, I mean, we already seen there's a bullet scene. People are like, what's a bullet scene? So I'm just saying there's a scene where these kids protect everybody from getting shot from a bunch of soldiers. And when you see these effects, now if it was in fast motion, it'd be like, oh, big deal. But it's going so slow that you see every little bad effect that happens.
You can see halos around the pixels.
It was almost like you could see somebody like drawing an explosion and erasing it and drawing that shit again.
It's like the motion version of Photoshop.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where even old grandmas are sitting there going, "This is so fucking."
And
fake."
it's almost like the guys who were being shot, the Rock and the kids, and they're all like wrenching at it. It's almost looking like, damn, these are some ugly ass looking effects. but
But it makes you wonder why they're running from these guys the whole time. They've got hundreds of guys firing guns at them, and without so much as a Jean Grey nosebleed, they stop the bullets. Like, why didn't you do that a half hour
Well,
ago?
Cyrus, back it up from there. Why are the people who want to capture them all walking around with machine guns?
Okay, let's back it up from there and get to the point where it's like, why do these people have magical computers that can pull up a frame of video that can find them in like 10 seconds, but if they turn a corner, they're lost for good?
I was gonna say they have Google God apparently, and why did only the alien bounty hunter had that technology?
Oh man! And as much as I complain about Enemy of the State, this puts that to shame.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like, all right, how many cameras you got in Las Vegas? About 3,000. Okay, I need you to look at every last one of them until you find a blur of these little kids. Tick, tick, tick. Got it. What?
Oh, and here's them getting into a cab.
I mean, well, damn.
3,000 cameras that fast?
Yeah, no. If you're gonna go, what's wrong?
He's like, and then, but
Oh no, I'm not right. No,
We're
I
all
mean,
so
you're
excited.
making points. No, because I mean, it's like we're realizing just how much this doesn't make sense the more you get into it. Because I mean, really, you could have just had a movie where you didn't need any of this. It could have been about two little kids who came down. The moment somebody started shooting at them, they said, fuck it. Their eyes start glowing and they just suddenly turn into Mars attacks and they destroy the hell out of Las Vegas. I mean, come on. They're indestructible and they shoot fire bombs from their hands. Who's going to mess with them?
What's really going to bake your noodle is when you ask yourself, why did they take the dog with them if they were never going to show him on camera?
I know. And then suddenly he's back at the end. You're like, hey, where did you put the dog when you were
Take care of
invading Witch
Junkyard.
Mountain?
Why? We haven't been taking care of him for the last hour.
Yeah. Shit. I mean, that's another thing about this movie is it's a kids movie and it's extremely safe. I mean, they have they have two scenes in there that really stood out to me where any other movie they would have died. There's a scene where a guy is in a train, a conductor. He goes into a tunnel. He obviously crashed into something. There's a huge fiery explosion, and then you hear the soldier. The conductor, he's a little shaken up, but he got out with a little bit of a scratch.
I know. I know. He's expecting like, yeah, the conductor's fine. The 200 passengers, though, they're all over the
they got
place.
They're
fucked
fried
up,
to
man.
a crisp.
And then there's another scene where one of the FBI agents, the head guy, he runs into a backyard where Junkyard, the dog, attacks him. Now, he has a pistol in his hand.
Yes.
I mean, any other guy
And
would.
he's law enforcement.
So he has full. He can shoot to kill and dog.
He's surrounded by his men who also have machine guns.
Yeah, and now the moment that the dog attacks him, he's like nah, nah. But the moment the moment the dog would have like charged, we're like pow.
It's true. These are supposed to be trained professionals, men in black, if you will. I mean, how the fuck are they going to stop an alien? They can't stop a junkyard dog.
Well, that's why they didn't win. So, I mean, the movie itself, I didn't like the quality of the film, and I'm not a kid, so I was bored. I fell asleep. I have to admit, I could see kids liking it, but one of the things that did stand out
Hey
to
man,
me,
you're supposed to be a professional. You can't be falling asleep. in these
I'm
movies.
supposed
You
to-
were snoring audibly. The only
Who,
reason,
Leon was?
No, Leon. The
Oh.
only reason I didn't wake his ass up is because I just couldn't bring myself to do that to him. I
You
was like,
son of a bitch trying to call me out. No, they're
You
fast.
not only slept, you were checking email.
Yeah, shit, I had to do something. But no, I will say one of the things I did like about it is that they had several actors. I mean, for this to be some made for TV sci-fi movie, you had some actors in here who were trying their best. I mean, they were acting their ass off.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
I was going to say, I'm not sure.
Well,
who
when I
you're
say that-
talking
I
about.
thought everybody in here sucked.
Okay.
I don't think they sucked, but they had a really good, likable cast.
Yeah,
Okay.
now, that's what I'm saying. They really kind of put, and it was from a humorous angle. I mean, I'm not saying that they were being dramatic or anything, because I'll admit this is the first time I just had to give up and say Dwayne Johnson is not that good.
I mean, the thing is, he can be good. He's not phenomenal. And in a role like this where it's so underwritten, that's when you pull in a guy like a Chris Tucker or a Jim Carrey, somebody who's all over the place and can take a poorly written role, and they bring whatever personality they have to it, and you want to see them.
Yeah, but you just named a movie I don't want to see. Chris Tucker as a cab driver driving around two alien white kids.
Honestly,
oh my God, I've already seen that movie in my head, and it's not good.
The problem is the director. Really, it's like, because there are actors in here I know are good actors.
Yeah.
But the director doesn't know when to cut away. He doesn't know when to show like that them actually delivering their lines and when just to get the fuck away from them. The Rock doesn't know what to do half the time.
Well, yeah,
in
no,
this movie.
they had some shots of him. There was a shot where there's a spaceship leaving, and he's looking up. He's like smiling and trying to cry.
It's
And it's like
embarrassing to
Yeah,
watch.
it was like,
There's-
come on, man.
Yeah,
Well,
I think Corey nailed it on the head. This thing is underwritten. There was one really good line of dialogue in the whole movie, and aside from that, there was nothing else that was sharp. We just spent 10 minutes going over just half of the plot holes in this film.
Just half, yeah.
Just half. I mean, this thing is so riddled with inconsistencies, plot holes, and just things that the kids won't think about, and the kids are going to have a lot of fun
Right.
with it. I liken this to one of the goofy 80s sci-fi movies that you love as a kid, and then you grow up to watch and go, wow, that didn't make a lot of sense.
yeah.
Well,
just like the original Witch Mountain movie.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I enjoyed watching what's that girl who played Carla Gugino?
Yeah.
I mean, she had fun with her small role. I mean,
Well,
she
a little
made
bit
me
she
laugh.
You liked her because she's starting to look older.
I like her because she walked away from me a few times. She had got an ass on her, so I'm grasping for straws here in this movie. I was bored as hell until she turned around. But
Well, see, man, I feel bad for The Rock because he is going to look bad, and there's just so many places where it's written where he's got a setup for a joke, but yet no punchline.
Well, no, I mean, look, they just didn't give him anything to do. He's a guy that I think is good if he's well directed. So you had a point about that director, but
and the casting director, what was that? Bringing Gary Marshall
That's
in
what I was gonna
as
say.
an
Why
was
expert
he there?
on UFOs. Gary Marshall,
But
that made no sense.
Like, he made me laugh though. That's what I'm
Gary
saying.
Marshall always makes you laugh. 'cause
Exactly.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
The three of you witnessed this reported UFO crash.
That's right.
We were wondering if there was any intel out there amongst your sources.
We have reason to believe a team of government-sponsored covert operatives recovered the spacecraft.
Okay, back up a little. This is not space camp. You know, you're very lucky, you two, that you didn't come face to face with the aliens who are in that craft. They're like deadly praying mantises. They eat your flesh.
Oh yes, we are indeed lucky kids not to have had our flesh eaten by the aliens.
You got that right. Okay, let's go to work here. I got an email from a source that sent me this SatGram.
Where would they take the spaceship?
Well, from the size and scope of the crash, I would say there's only one possibility. Which mountain? What, are we a singing group here? Let me talk and you guys nod a little bit.
I'm sorry.
But he was given nothing and so miscast.
Well, there's also a few other surprise cameos in here, including one from Cheech Marin because, well, you always have to have a surprise cameo by Cheech Marin. And there's a couple of cameos by the kids who were in the original Witch Mountain, and they look to be probably in their late 40s, early 50s now.
Whoever wrote a movie about aliens here clearly has nothing but disdain for people who believe in aliens, though, which is the weirdest thing.
I don't know. There's a little in joke there for like hardcore alien people.
The trust no one joke.
No. There's actually a moment where somebody walks up to talk to Carla Gugino, and she goes, "Whitney, not now."
Right.
And
it's Whitley Strieber.
who wrote Communion.
But every single character in here who believes in aliens is a complete and utter nut job, like to the point where like they're just preposterously nut jobby, way past the nut jobby they are. I'm a skeptic and don't believe in aliens, but even I was like, hey, fucking lay off. Jesus Christ.
this was for kids.
Yeah, but
I mean, you do realize this is called Race to Witch Mountain by,
I know, but that's
by
the thing.
Disney.
It's like an alien movie. It's a pro believing in aliens
Cyrus,
movie.
honestly, Do you know anybody who believes in aliens who isn't a nut job?
Yeah, he used to be on The Real Deal.
That would be
Oh, no,
me.
wait, he's a nut
actually,
job.
I'm
you're
the
the all
guy
around
who's
nut job no
not
matter
a
what.
Nut job.
Thank you for proving my point.
Exactly. We caught you. How many times do we have to take tinfoil off your head?
Hey, I do not want them reading my thoughts and getting my reviews in advance. They can
You
read
know
it when
what?
I post it.
I would love for an alien to read your mind because we would cut to that alien and that alien would be having a pistol and put it into his head and just blowing his brains out.
They'd blow up the planet.
I can't take this shit. But I mean, you know something? I will say I'm trying to be fair here. I don't know how to gauge this movie. It's for kids.
I know how to gauge it. I just don't know how to rate it.
That's-
Because
okay.
for a kid's going to love it just like we love the other Witch Mountain
We keep
movies.
saying that, though, but you know the thing is, they weren't making this just for kids. They really wanted this to cross barriers. And that's where I draw the line and go, no, I'm going to rate this as a movie for everyone. And on that level, this is a some old bullshit. And I'm sorry, I have to give it that. There is not one moment in this whole thing that I liked. I cringed more and more and more. You two slept through half the movie, so I don't even want to hear it from you. Okay. I was up for every second of this, and my brain was fighting. My brain was clenching around my spinal column, trying to send me to sleep, and I fought it.
Don't
This
fuck with
sucks.
Cyrus's aliens. man.
This is race to go fuck yourself mountain.
Yeah, damn. Y'all can talk about God and Jesus all you want, but you start fucking with aliens, Cyrus gets offended.
Well, I mean, after sitting through Watchmen last week, I'm glad we finally got a good movie to
Don't
to
even
review.
mention that. Now you're gonna have all these talk about nut jobs. They're gonna come right back out again.
Yeah, you know, we should talk a little bit about Watchmen just to drive up the comments.
This movie was so much better than Watchmen.
This is a Saturday afternoon matinee. It is not anywhere near a full price movie for kids, but it's the type of thing that if you've got age appropriate kids and they want to see it, take them on a Saturday afternoon, go to a matinee, enjoy it. For everyone else, it's at best a rental. I don't agree that it's some old bullshit because there were a few cute moments in it, and overall I was never bored and it never offended me. So, you know, I enjoyed parts of it, so I would give it a rental. But for kids, it's a matinee, and it's a solid matinee.
I see, Carla, I think you're being completely fair about the movie, and I would just about agree with you on everything you said. However, I got to say, the ending really drove it down a major point for me.
You mean that part where you woke back up and were actually see the movie and go, wow, this sucks.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah, you're right.
Sad day, sad day, sad day.
Sad days.
There seemed to be that point where I thought, oh, okay, they've ended it, and they decided to show like the epilogue, and it's like, oh, The Rock gets to wear makeup. That's the ending. I'm like, damn. Now we're teetering into some old bullshit area.
Come on, man. Now he's feeding you thoughts. Come on.
No. I am really so right between these guys where I agree with Carlisle. You know, the kids are going to love it, and it's a good matinee for them. And if you take a pillow, and it'll work out for you just perfectly.
I can't believe you slept through that. That movie was fucking loud.
That's why I didn't wake him up. He was snoring really loudly, but no one could hear him but me.
I couldn't hear him. He was like 3 chairs over. I didn't hear him at all.
I was like, fuck it, let him sleep.
Now that is true. I don't know how bad I do when I sleep. Do I snore as bad? Because I know this fool. He does that.
No,
at home.
you just go unconscious, and we only know if you're awake or not if your cell phone light. If we can see that under your shirt.
Yeah, man.
Because if we can see that,
you're
we
in
know
sleep,
you're
your
awake.
cell phone is on. I don't know how you see any movie. As a matter of fact, y'all, don't listen to Corey's ratings. Because he's actually rating the text messages he got while he was sitting in the theater.
Yeah.
This fool will pull a Homer Simpson. I mean, his neck is bent and his tongue is up in the air. He's like,
Yeah, he's chainsawing over there.
But you know something, man? I have to agree with you. I do think kids will, if they were to be taken to a matinee, it's one of those movies. Look at this. He's shaking his head.
My head itched.
I'm just saying. Look, if you go into this, I hope it's because your kids are bothering you, and take them to a matinee. And if you can sleep through it or whatever, you might be able to get through
Well,
it.
listen,
on your own, it's some old bullshit.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It is one of those movies where I have to say it is strictly a matinee for kids. I don't understand if adults would want to see this on their own. I mean, the only way you're really going to enjoy it is if you have kids.
Well,
So-
a lot of people are going to want to see it because they're rock fans.
Yep.
And this
Yeah.
is not a movie for rock
And-
fans.
Or they
Really?
have fond memories of films, the original films, which, trust me, you remember them as a kid. Watch them now and you'll go, wow, what the fuck did I see in there?
Yeah. I mean, and I'm thinking, you're right. I am thinking about the first Witch Mountain. I mean, for God's sake, man, one of the kids had to play a harmonica to get his psychic powers going. I mean, so it's like, damn. Yeah, so it's not. I mean,
Forgotten about that.
This ain't that far from what they did in the past. So,
No.
and you don't realize how people who have kids don't get out the house that much. So shit, they might be happy to get out and watch this shit too. So I'm gonna say matinee for it.
Well, just keep in mind, list my rating as a. Wait, did I say rental or some old
You
bullshit?
said you said, but rental for kids and some old bullshit for anyone else.
Okay.
I think.
Man, that's an extreme right there.
I know.
I'm sorry, this is a some. I can't.
I mean,
can't
I
agree
feel like
with
those
this. This is some
filter
old
down
bullshit.
to rental. But then but if somebody was to say like, so you give the same rating you give Watchmen, I'd be like, no.
You can't. You
But
cannot.
maybe I do.
You can't compare the two. They're two completely different films going in with completely different expectations.
Dude, this is no technically better film than the original films, and those were crap. And it's been like 30 years. It
Damn,
should
Cyrus,
be
you-
better.
Okay, Cyrus is convincing me, man. I gotta go. I gotta
Oh,
go with
man.
some old
Did
bullshit.
The Rock touch you inappropriately?
No,
What happened to you?
Nothing about this movie touched me in any way.
Oh,
What?
wait a minute. No, maybe I'll go back up to rental. Cause
Okay, I didn't. You
it's
know,
not
you
as bad
no,
as Southland
you,
Tales.
God damn it, no, you stop. Okay, just stop. All right, you drive me crazy over here with flip flop between these ratings.
I know his rating little thing sliding down is going to look like the
He always does
slot
this.
Yeah,
machine.
you're right. Okay, maybe I better go ahead and put it back at.
I've seen him in the middle of a group of people, and everybody gives an opinion, and he's the only one up there with steam coming out of his ears. Like, maybe you have a point. Oh, but no, maybe you have a point. It's like, damn it, you just don't.
He's the John Kerry of movie review.
Hey man, I'm trying to be fair. Unlike our last president, I'm willing to admit that like maybe I didn't take the best tack with that.
It's fucking Race to Witch Mountain. Give it a rental.
No, I did not have sex with that movie.
Now you know what The Rock. His name in this movie was what? Jack Bruno.
Jack Bruno.
Right, Jack. I would have loved it if at the end those two kids would have been like, "Thank you, Jack Bruno. You have served your purpose for us. There's only one more thing," and they like pull their mask back and they're like reptile creatures. They attack him and eat his ass at the
That
end.
would have been awesome.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
I would have loved that.
Like,
I would have
let us
changed
show
my
you
whole
our
view
true
of it.
faces.
Yeah.
I would have been like, somebody at Disney is so fired.